Hi, it's Panda Movies here. Today, I'm going to explain the movie called White House Down. Warning, there are spoilers ahead. Enjoy the video. The movie starts with the controversial proposal of the US President James Sawyer to remove military forces from the Middle East. It follows divorced US Army veteran John Cale, who now works as a Capitol Police officer assigned to Speaker of the House Eli Raphelson, whose nephew, Corporal Dawson, he saved while serving in Afghanistan. Cale hopes to impress his daughter, Emily, by securing an interview for the Secret Service presidential detail. His daughter is so fascinated with anything that is related to the history of the White House that he also managed to secure them tickets for the tour. The father and daughter excitedly make their way to the White House, however, even before their tour begins, Cale receives a devastating result for his interview. His interviewer, Deputy Special Agent-in-Charge Carol Finnerty, a college acquaintance, deems him unqualified for the job. Without telling his daughter the truth about the result of his interview, they carry on with the tour. During the tour, they chance upon the president, who has a brief conversation with Emily and even allows her to film him for her blog. Meanwhile, a bomb is detonated by a group of men disguised as maintenance staff. The explosion collapses the rotunda, sending Washington, D.C. into lockdown. Finnerty, as protocol dictates, escorts Raphelson to an underground command center in the Pentagon, while the vice president, Alvin Hammond, is taken aboard Air Force One. The group of bombers turned out to be a team of mercenaries led by ex-Delta Force and CIA operative Emil Stenz. They infiltrated the White House and overwhelmed the Secret Service by seizing the building. The tour group that was left inside is taken hostage in the Blue Room by white nationalist Carl Killick. Cale, however, manages to escape to search for Emily, who was separated from the rest of the group during the tour. Meanwhile, President Sawyer is taken by the retiring head of the presidential detail Special Agent-in-Charge Martin Walker to the PIOC beneath the White House library. As soon as they arrive, Walker kills Sawyer's details, including his fellow agent and friend, Ted Hope. Walker reveals that he is the leader of the attack as he is seeking vengeance against Sawyer for the death of his son, Kevin, a member of the Marines. Kevin was killed in a botched mission in Iran the year before. On the other hand, Cale manages to kill a mercenary and luckily hears Walker and Sawyer over the radio. Determined to save the president, Cale takes the weapon of the mercenary and proceeds to the library to rescue Sawyer. While being held at gunpoint, the president stands back as Walker brings in ex-NSA analyst Skip Tyler to hack the PIOC's defense system, as he is the key to activate the nuclear football. Meanwhile, Killick catches Emily filming them on her phone and takes her hostage. Back at the library, Cale manages to rescue Sawyer, and they contact the command structure via a scrambled satellite phone in the residence, whereas Finnerty uses Emily's YouTube video to discover the mercenaries' identities. Cale and Sawyer try to escape via a secret tunnel, but find the exit rigged with explosives. They escape in the presidential limo but are chased by Stenz and fall into the White House pool. After the explosion in the cabana, Cale and Sawyer are presumed dead, so the 25th Amendment is invoked, and Vice President Hammond is sworn in as president. Unbeknownst to the rest, Cale and Sawyer are still alive and learn that Hammond has ordered an aerial incursion to reacquire the White House, but the mercenaries manage to shoot down the helicopters. The mercenaries were also able to learn of Emily's identity through the video she has posted and takes her to Walker in the Oval Office. Back in the library, Tyler manages to hack into NORAD and launches a laser-guided missile at Air Force One's from Piketon, Ohio, killing Hammond and everyone on board. Following protocol, Raphelson is sworn in as president and he immediately orders an airstrike on the White House. Cale and Sawyer manage to find their way to the Oval Office and the latter surrenders himself to save Emily. Walker clarifies that he does not blame Sawyer for the death of his son, he blames Iran. Walker demands Sawyer to use the football to launch nuclear missiles against various Iranian cities. Sawyer refuses, while Cale sets fire to several rooms as a diversion. Tyler inadvertently triggers the tunnel explosives and is vaporized, killing most of the mercenaries and freeing the hostages with the help of tour guide Donnie Donaldson. Cale fights against Stenz and manages to blow him up using a grenade belt. Sawyer and Walker are also in a brawl, but Walker has the upper hand and manages to use Sawyer's handprint to activate the football, shooting Sawyer as soon as it is activated. Before Walker can finally launch the missiles from the USS Albuquerque, Cale crashes a reinforced Chevrolet Suburban into the Oval Office and kills him with the car's rotary cannon. Thinking fast, Emily runs outside and waves the presidential flag, signaling to call off the attack. Sawyer survives thanks to a pocket watch once belonging to Abraham Lincoln that stopped Walker's bullet. With the help of Finnerty, Cale realizes that Raphelson was the one who gave the launch codes to Walker, having acted at the behest of the corrupt military-industrial complex. With Sawyer presumed dead and Cale never to be believed, Raphelson is tricked into confessing. Sawyer appears and orders his arrest for treason, effectively removing him from the position of president. As a sign of his gratitude, Sawyer names Cale his new special agent and takes him and Emily on an aerial tour of DC on Marine One, aboard which he receives word that France, Russia, China, Israel and Iran have agreed to his peace deal after learning of the events at the White House, calling for an end to all wars. While all the action parts of the film can clearly compete with the rest of the movies in the same genre, the portrayal of trust in the movie is quite powerful. Cale and Sawyer barely knew each other, but during the times that they needed the other's help, both of them delivered. Sawyer had the most powerful position in the land, therefore it was crucial that he stayed alive and well, which Cale also made as his mission. However, at the time that Cale's daughter needed saving, Sawyer was ready to sacrifice his life for Emily, proving that he is a dependable president and a leader for all, making sure that each one of his citizens are safe, even a little girl he barely knew. For Cale, although, technically, it was not his responsibility to keep Sawyer alive, he still risked his life to make sure that he survived, trusting that he will set things right as soon as they get through the whole ordeal.